All right, so I did a video like this a few months ago, but now that we have more of the Universal Monster comics out from Image, I decided, you know what? I really want to talk more about these comics, and I'm really curious to see who comes next for what was it? For characters, like which characters should come off the bench next, and we're technically halfway through. Like I said, Dracula and Frankenstein are the best ones, and Creature was really a mess. Dan Watters and Ram V were like, it was like too many cooks in the kitchen. I've talked enough about this. But now I haven't, now keep in mind I'm reading in trade, so I have to wait a bit until November to read Universal Monsters The Mummy. So that comic has just ended, and I think soon they are going to start doing James Tynion's Invisible Man, which I'm really excited for. I was not expecting the Invisible Man to get a comic as soon as he did. I'm really looking forward to that. But there are some monsters that are still not off the table yet. Like, some of them are still sitting on the bench, and I'm actually shocked that, like, the Mummy and Invisible Man got their comics first before these ones. Like, we all expected, like, who would be next is probably, like, not the Mummy and Invisible Man, no disrespect to those characters, but we all thought it would be, like they would do, like, the big names first. Like, Bride and Wolfman would come next after Gilman and Dracula and Frankenstein. But no. Mummy and then Invisible Man. So the last ones that are still on the bench are Wolfman, Bride, the Phantom, and one more, but I don't know if he's going to count. But we'll talk about him anyway, and say we're halfway through with. We're going to say like we're halfway through with, of course, the Hunchback of Notre Dame, Quasimodo. So we're going to say, like, maybe he's added too, because they really try to put him in the Universal Monsters, even though that kind of defeats the purpose of him. And it does also, like, as a sidebar, it does make me wonder of how long are these Universal Monsters comics are going to go on? Like, how long is the contract? Is it just 4-issue minis, and then they're, like, once all the monsters get their comics, they're done? Or are there like, how long can Skybound hold on to them? Can they do other monsters? Like, can they do a comic based off of Dracula's daughter, or the Vincent Price's character from The Invisible Man Returns? There's a lot, and also what else is going to count as a Universal Monster? Because remember, back in the 90s, they really were pushing the Mole Man and the Metalunan as Universal Monsters. So is there a chance that, like, the Mole Men and This Island Earth could get Universal Monster comics? I would kind of like that, actually, even though I don't really consider them part of the core monsters. It'd be still kind of cool. Anyway, yeah, so I'm gonna talk about, like, some fun ideas, and again, I fully admit that I could be wrong on these books, but also, another monster that could he get a book is Dr. Jekyll and Mr. Hyde. They've kind of promoted him at Halloween Horror Nights and Dark Universe. So, could Mr. Hyde be considered a Universal Monster they could get a comic about? And remember, there is a Universal Studios Dr. Jekyll and Mr. Hyde movie that they could base the whole story on. Anyway, so this video is just to talk about, like, what for the main monsters. We're going to talk about the main ones right here, and talk about what creative teams I personally would like to see on them. I'm not saying this is like the word of God or whatever. I'm just saying, like, these are the ones the writers I would really like to see, and if I'm wrong, then I'm wrong. I'm still going to read the fucking comics because I love these characters. So yeah, and I'm always excited to hear what you would pick for the Universal Monsters as well. So first off, we're going to talk about the Wolfman, a character I was pretty sure was going to be next, but nope. So who would I pick for the Wolfman? My selection for the Wolfman is Joshua Williamson. Joshua Williamson is, of course, known for, like, DC Comics, and for, like, Justice League and a lot of DC titles, and, of course, he's writing G.I. Joe for Skybound. But I think a lot of people forget that, like, he did horror comics before, or action horror, like The Spread. He also wrote a lot of Alien vs. Predator books. He also had a hand in writing the Haunted Mansion comic for Marvel. So he has had his hand in horror. And the reason why I think Joshua Williamson would be really good at writing the Wolfman is because he's really good at action horror. and I would love to see like a Larry Talbot Wolfman comic be just this gore fest. Like apply the gothic atmosphere of the original film and apply the uber violence of the remake movie. So the remake movie is, now that I just said that out loud. But no, I think Joshua Williamson would be the perfect pick for the Wolfman. For art, I can't really say who I'd pick for artists because I'm not good at that, but I'm just going to go by writers. Now, for The Bride of Frankenstein. The Bride of Frankenstein is interesting, but this is the writer I've wanted for a Bride of Frankenstein comic. And that is Karina Beko. Karina Beko is a phenomenal and highly underrated horror writer. She has done great Alien books for Dark Horse. She also was a writer for Vampirella. She was also a writer for Red Sonja. She was also a writer for the Vampirella Alien crossover. She also did Green Lantern Earth 1. Those books are very horror-based and almost like cosmic horror in a way. Karina Beko, I think, would really capture just the utter terror of The Bride of Frankenstein. And I feel like the best way to do that book is probably make it like a full-on sequel, like having the bride survive the explosion, like how they did the bride storyline in Halloween Horror Nights, and have it like she's now like in a world with no one. Like everyone thinks she's dead and is now like being hunted by other people trying to get like Frankenstein's experiment or other things of that nature. I think she would be really perfect. So yeah, Karina Beko would be my pick for The Bride of Frankenstein. Now, moving on to our next monster, and that is the Phantom of the Opera. My pick for the Phantom of the Opera is Kelly Thompson. Kelly Thompson is not known for horror books. She's more known for action books. But the reason why, but also, like, you could say the same thing about the Mummy writer, Faith Jude Hicks, who she even said she had never watched the original movie, but before doing homework for the comic. So I don't know if she's seen Phantom, and it also makes me wonder, which Phantom are they going to use? Like, are they going to use Lon Chaney's Phantom or Claude Rains' Phantom? That's the thing. There's two continuities. That was the same thing with the Mummy comic. Or like, are you going to do Imhotep or are you going to do Karis? And then they said, yeah, we're doing Imhotep. So, you know, we have that. I kind of hope they do Lon Chaney. Yes, Lon Chaney's is in public domain, and they were pushing for Claude Rains because that was still under their wheelhouse. But now it doesn't look like they fucking care, because at Dark Universe, Frankenstein Unchained looks like straight up like fucking Lon Chaney's Phantom. So I think it should be Lon Chaney's Phantom. The reason why I picked Kelly Thompson for Phantom of the Opera, she does like really great heartbreaking comics too, and Phantom of the Opera is very much a love tragedy, and she's also really good at ripping your heart out, but also she's good at really great action scenes, and also like she's really great at atmosphere. So Kelly Thompson, even though again she's not a horror writer, I kind of want her to be like the writer of the Phantom of the Opera. I would also say Karina Beko. Like, you could honestly trade Thompson and Beko to do these two characters. I think they do both a great job on both of these characters. But yeah, Kelly Thompson would be my pick for the Bride of Frankenstein. Not Bride of Frankenstein. She could be good on that too, but Phantom of the Opera, excuse me. Now, the last monster we're going to talk about, even though, yes, he's not really considered he shouldn't be considered part of the Universal monsters. Universal really wants to push him. And that is the Hunchback of Notre Dame. My pick for writer for Hunchback of Notre Dame is actually is kind of a fascinating pick. I think the guy I would pick for Hunchback of Notre Dame is none other than Dan Watters. Like, have him come back to write this book. He's really good at telling tragic stories, and also, like, another alternative writer I would actually pick is... Actually, I think I'd pick this guy more, is Christopher Cantwell. Christopher Cantwell is really good at telling, like, tragic characters, and sometimes he's really good at writing a bastard and making you root for them. But even though, yes, we know the Hunchback isn't a bastard, he's really good at writing very complex characters. And I would love to see how he'd write Frollo. I know he's not called Frollo in the movie, but you know that character. So I'd love to see him write that character specifically. So there you go, guys. Those are my picks for Universal Monster creative teams. You guys tell me in the comments below, what do you guys think of these? And who would you pick for writers for these remaining Universal Monster comics? Also, are you hoping they do more, they continue this line? And what monsters are you hoping to see if they get to continue this line? Hell, do you want to see them do a sequel like some Monster Rally comics? You like maybe their own version of House of Frankenstein and House of Dracula? Just comment below, let me know. Other than that, hope y'all enjoyed this. I'm Mr. Multiverse. I'll see you next time in the Multiverse.